Today is going to be super simple. I think you're going to like it. It's theoretical versus experimental probability. Both of these are big words, but they're super easy. Okay, so here's two vocabulary words that you need to know. It's theoretical probability and experimental probability. They are not hard. This is extremely simple. But I'm not going to give you some crazy long definition. I'm going to give you a simple one. Theoretical probability is what should happen. So I want you to write should happen, because think about when you are rolling a dice. Theoretically, you should have a 1 out of 6 chance every time you roll the dice. But if you roll a dice 6 times, do you get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6? No, that never happens, but it's what should happen, so that's your theoretical probability. Now, experimental probability is what really happens. So write really happens. Now, this is a really shortened down definition, but it works because when you roll a dice, you really get 2 3s, a 4, a 5, a couple 1s, and things like that. So that's your experimental probability. That's what really happens. So, recap, theoretical probability is what should happen. Experimental probability is what really happens. Okay, so our last vocabulary word that we're going to look at today is compliment. And no, I'm not talking about giving your best friend a compliment about how cute her hair is. We're talking about compliments having to do with probability. The definition we're going to use is the leftovers of the probability of you want. So compliments just the leftovers. So if I were you, where you write leftovers, I would then bubble it, circle it, do something so that it stands out, because the word you need to remember is leftovers. So let's see what that means. If I said the probability of getting a 6 when you roll a dice is 1/6, then what is its complement? The complement is how many if it's left over. So if you have 6 pieces of pizza and you eat one of them, how many pieces is left? 5. So the complement of 1/6 is 5/6. What about 2/3? Well, if there's 3 pieces of candy on the desk, then you eat 2 of them. How many's left over? 1/3. What about 7/12? Okay, there's 12 pieces of pizza. You and your friends eat 7 of them. How many leftovers do you have? You have 5/12. So remember, complements are the leftovers. Easy. Okay, so let's look at what this would look like in an actual experiment or on a worksheet. It would tell you to roll a die 6 times. Now, I can't do that, or I could, and you'd hear it bouncing around, but you wouldn't be able to see me do it. So I just did it beforehand, and so I wrote down what I got. Now, let's look at the theoretical probability versus the experimental probability. Both times I'm going to look at 5. Well, theoretical probability is what should happen. So, I should have gotten 1/5 out of the 6 times that I spun. But what really happened? So, my experimental is what really happened. So, really, I got 2 5s out of the 6 times that I rolled. Okay, that reduces down to 1/3. So, that means that my experimental probability is 1/3. Are those the same? No, because what should happen is not what always really happens. And last one, I want to go back over that last vocabulary word, it's complement. So we're going to figure out what the complement of our experimental probability is. So if 1/3 was our 1, then our complement is the leftover. So if there was 3 pieces of pizza and you ate one of them, then that means there are 2 pieces left over. So your complement would be 2/3.